Welcome to the AFR Saints channel, where we provide you daily content on your favorite team, the New Orleans Saints. Do us a favor and hit that subscribe button. Be sure to leave your comments below and smash that like button. Who dat? It is mock draft season, the Senior Bowl now in the rearview mirror, so you would expect a lot of updated draft lists, mock drafts, etc. And today, Matt Miller over at ESPN.com has put out his updated 2-round mock draft. So, let us begin and look through this if we shall. Love me a good mock draft. Muse, you love a mock draft?
They're good. They're good. They get a little repetitive, but they're good. Sure.
You get a little repetitive.
I like when there's like a big bombshell that just shocks everybody. That's what I like.
Paulie, do you like a good mock draft?
I do. I like the ones where you do it yourself. A little interactive.
Oh, those are fun, yeah.
Ooh. The mock draft simulator?
Yeah, those are good.
Those are good.
We do one every year on the show.
You know what's interesting about that is you always think you know what you're going to do until you're presented with a situation where you weren't anticipating. You thought that player would be there and they're not. And what do you do? And it's like the butterfly effect. So Matt Miller, 2-round mock draft. No surprise. Caleb Williams, 1 of the Bears, and then Drake May, 2 to the Commanders. The interesting thing about Drake May, 2 to the Commanders, potentially, is with Cliff Kingsbury going to Washington now as their offensive coordinator. He had Caleb Williams in Southern Cal in Los Angeles last year at USC. So maybe does Washington try to jump up to number 1 to take Caleb Williams? Would the Bears marry themselves to Justin Fields? The whole thing about Chicago is, they passed on a generational quarterback in Patrick Mahomes to take Trubisky. And so the whole thing with Chicago fans, like, could you really do it again with Caleb Williams to settle with Justin Fields or to take Drake May? Don't know. But for the sake of this mock draft, they have what a lot of us are anticipating, which is Jaden Daniels. Oh, excuse me. With the 3rd pick in the draft, the New England Patriots and their head coach, Gerard Mayo. Sounds weird, doesn't it? Taking Jaden Daniels, number 3 overall. This is a consensus now. I haven't seen a mock draft anywhere that has Jaden Daniels outside of the top 3. It's hard to imagine a scenario at this point where he goes any later than 3. All of the quarterback-needy teams will either take him in the top 3 or somebody will trade up into the top 3 to take him. I haven't seen any mock draft where he's outside of the top 3.
I have not.
Marvin Harrison, 4 to the Cardinals, and then you don't have to wait any longer for the next LSU Tiger. With the 5th pick, Matt Miller projecting the Los Angeles Chargers and their new coach, Jim Harbaugh, selecting LSU wide receiver Malik Neighbors, and then 1 spot behind him, Rome Odunze, the wide receiver from Washington, to the New York Giants. So how about that? Potentially Daniels, Neighbors, both in the top 5 of the draft. There is one more LSU Tiger going in round 1 that we all are expecting to go in round 1. And that is with the 18th pick, the Cincinnati Bengals, taking Brian Thomas Jr. Now, I would love to see Brian Thomas Jr. in the black and gold. We talked about this last week with one of the mock drafts. But Brian Thomas in Cincinnati actually does make a ton of sense. Take out the Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, LSU connection. Like, it does make a lot of sense because T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd are both free agents. And if you lose one or both of those guys, Cincinnati will be in the market for a wide receiver, potentially one in round 1. So it ain't that crazy to think you could have another LSU Tiger there in Cincinnati. So for the 2-round mock, those are the only 2 LSU Tigers. That's probably not a giant surprise. But the Saints have 2 picks, 14 in round 1 and 45 overall in round 2. And with the 4th, I know, it's like, we're there. Muse and I were like, we're doing a little tap dance, a little square dance thing. Figuring it out. We're a little tango. I step on your foot, you step on my foot a little bit here. We're trying to work it out. Spin, do the thing where you the neck around. You see that one where the old people do that dance on TikTok? There's 2 80-year-old people who are doing like a dance, and they're dancing to like, I don't know, like Get Low or something. It's awesome. But they're doing like a real like partner dance.
They're like tangoing to Get Low.
It's awesome.
That actually does sound pretty
So
awesome. I'm
good.
not going to lie.
I know. I don't think it's Get Low. It's something else. It's awesome. It's not Usher. With the 14th pick, the Saints taking Brock Bowers out of Georgia. I would love this if Brock Bowers is there at 14. It's hard to imagine a scenario that he would be there at 14, but the reason Bowers is there at 14 in this 2-round mock draft is because Matt Miller has Bo Nix and J.J. McCarthy going at 12 and 13 respectively. He's got Bo Nix going 12 to Denver and J.J. McCarthy going 13 to the Raiders. For the life of me, I cannot understand either of these. I watched these guys play in college. Certainly saw Bo Nix at the Senior Bowl this weekend. That wasn't great. I don't know how you can justify thinking these guys are top half of round 1 picks. Yeah, I'm not a scout. See how it all plays out. Maybe they're awesome players at the next level. I don't know that I see that. I certainly don't see that in the top half of round 1. But if quarterback-needy teams pull the trigger on quarterbacks, that means good players at other positions fall. So, yes, you want 5 quarterbacks going in the top 13 because that means when the Saints are picking there at 14, there's going to be a player there who probably shouldn't be there of value. And if it's Brock Bowers, I could totally get down with the Saints taking Brock Bowers there at 14 overall if he's there. And with the 45th pick overall, it's pretty clear what every draft analyst thinks the Saints need, and it's help for Derek Carr offensively. And they've got the Saints taking Xavier Legette, the wide receiver out of South Carolina. 6'1", 227. He was great. Averaged 17.6 yards per reception this year there in Columbia. South Carolina didn't have a great year offensively, but Xavier Legette is a great talent. And if you're able to get him at number 45 overall, that'd be a big target there for Derek Carr. And it's just pretty clear. It's just pretty abundantly clear that every mock draft you look at, with a few exceptions, where maybe you see Latu, the defensive end from UCLA, or Jared Verse from Florida State. In some instances, you'll see that edge rusher mocked to New Orleans at 14. Most of what you see is receiver, tight end, offensive line, because if you're committed to Derek Carr, you got to get him the tools to be the best version of himself he can be. And Lord knows the Saints have a lot of shortcomings offensively. So, Matt Miller, 2-round mock draft at ESPN.com up today. He's got the Saints taking Brock Bowers at 14 and wide receiver Xavier Legette at 45. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact, and be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.